Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode here as we get ready for our second season. We have a big week, or big month, a big summer of recruiting. We have a lot of scholarships available, just getting right into these national camps, taking a look at some of the big ones here. Kind of just going with the same plan as last season with the camps that we're going to. There's a number of big names, and I'm keeping things really geared into that Southeast recruiting. I think that's a benefit. That's kind of where we're at. My goal for this season is I really like to add a 5-star recruit. Also, I think we just definitely want to make sure to get the best players out of Florida. That's something I learned last year. So just looking at these lists here. And welcome if you guys are new to the channel. This is a great time to jump in. Be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out a ton. But this is a great way just to get right back into this season as we get ready for it. Again, you're taking a look at the recruiting overview of this game and right now. So, and if you guys have been following along with the series, definitely appreciate you. And my friend Rylan is still controlling Virginia Tech. Update there as well. So here we go. We got some key dates. I love looking at this because of the calendar. We're looking at that first week of July. The big thing right here is we're looking at that Las Vegas camp right now. Houston, Chicago, Memphis, the Big Apple Showcase coming up. So once again, the one thing I did too also with that budget, my budget's low going into the season. I'm curious to see how that's going to work out. I went a little heavy. I kind of used a lot of my budget this year on the reports. I went with the gold report once again, but also just kind of expand it. So Larry Burks, if I were to pick one guy as my top target, Larry Burks would be it. His stats are incredible. You know, and one of the things that I kind of struggle with is just when do you give up on a recruit if you don't feel like you're making a lot of impact with him. But what I learned last year though too is I got two 4-stars kind of late in the process, a top 50 recruit who's going to start for us this year in Mike Howard. So excited about that. So I'm kind of going back and forth. I kind of want to be a little persistent. Looking here. And definitely, as always, drop in the comments if there's a recruit that you notice, if you like his stats. You know, just kind of maybe you see something that I don't see. Definitely drop in the comments and let me know, hey, let's go after this guy. I definitely like hearing you guys' opinions on that. So when I make the calls in the pitch areas here, the big thing I want to do is I'm really looking forward to, I almost always go playing time, but I like to do location. And as soon as I find something that it seems to really catch them, I kind of stay on it as opposed to just sprinkling a few percent here or there for each recruit. I kind of want to kind of pour it on our guy. I think that's the way to go. So just looking at it here, the evaluations coming in on some guys. Definitely looking at the evaluations at A's and B's. And obviously the stars and the rankings change. They go up and down a ton. You guys remember last year, I thought I had a diamond in the rough. He goes up one month. Every month it refreshes. I thought I had a really big catch, and then he ended up being not very good. We ended up letting him go before the season. So, which kind of determining, you know, after 1 year of doing this, with one season learning how the transfer works, I think that's something I want to be better at next year. Definitely be able to get in on some transfers as well. So Verschow's a priority for us because he's in-state. He's a 4-star recruit. Just kind of adds to our depth in the post there. And speaking of those two post guys from last year, again, both 4-stars. But there's a huge difference. One comes in, Howard comes in ready to start, and the other one, Boddicker, looks like he's going to be a depth guy. So the rankings, it depends on their impact early. It just doesn't seem like they're going to be two really good ones the way I'd hope. So that's why it's important to get, you know, just stack recruiting. So kind of my philosophy and what I want to go with. And this has been a revamped Miami team because, once again, all the seniors left. So Likes, McGusty, all those guys are gone. So we're going with Isaiah Wong and Beverly as our kind of our top guys. And then all the newcomers, the recent signees, Ja'Kai Robinson, you guys know about him. Nycine Poplar is in as well. So I've got these guys on the team this year, but the big thing I'm looking for is I always like those 6'6 to 6'8 wings that are very athletic. I like that mix right there. I'm always looking for those guys, just that versatility. But I still like to play with a big man, even though I understand that's I understand where basketball is kind of going. I just like to have that one guy that can block shots and rebound. So I'm always looking for a quality center as well. And then the point guard, I always like guys that can get you like 10 to 14 points, about 4 assists, a couple rebounds, steals and knockdown threes. I always want the point guard to be able to hit threes. That's a priority for me. That the shooting is good for the point guard position. And then obviously the shooting guard, you definitely want to score a guy that can hit threes as well. I like Kerry Weber here. It's a little tricky. He does not have those top schools mentioned, but I think he's a top recruit, unless the evaluations are incorrect. But he says don't bother calling again. See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not quite sure. I am going to power through it. I understand it. Like, that's my goal, but I wonder at one point that they're just really not interested. And you see it here. So we were able to get him on campus. Those are our offers. McMaster's a good one out of South Carolina. South Carolina kind of surprisingly has some really good recruits in this cycle. Again, Southeast region is where I'm sticking to. Atlantic East is where I would like to go next. It's kind of that North Carolina area up to Virginia. And with Ryland controlling Virginia Tech, I'd like to have some recruiting battles against him. I think that'd be kind of fun. (22-7). I always like seeing their stats, and once again, paying attention to the GPA. Got to make sure we get guys on. Even if we sign them in the fall, we got to make sure that they enroll as well. They get their SAT score. I think it's in January that kind of finalizes it. And I don't want to be too picky because we have so many scholarships. I think we have, it's either 5 or 6, I forget, scholarships to offer. I feel like this is a pivotal class as well because, once again, we brought in the guys from last year. And now with Miami's current roster, Wong and Beverly, those guys are getting a year older. Earl Timberlake, I'm expecting a big year out of him. I definitely want to start him kind of at that 3 spot. And hopefully he can have a breakout year because this will be his sophomore season. So we're hoping kind of build around him as well. Harper looks like a good prospect here. Again, trying to get as many 4-star guys as possible, but I really want to put an emphasis on trying to land our first 5-star guy. Really looking for a guy that can really be the face of our program in a sense where, we need him to kind of lead the team in scoring each year and kind of be that all ACC caliber player that you're always looking for. We might have one already in Howard. Definitely looking forward to doing that. And real quick, if you want to, drop in the comments on the schedule. If you have some schedule ideas before I set the schedule in August next month there on the calendar. But basically, you get to pick and choose who you'd like to play. If there's anybody that you'd like to play. I know there's been some fans in here on the channel of other schools that like to see their team. So definitely let me know. Doesn't matter big or small. And also, or maybe even just a philosophy. When you're a program like Miami, how do you stack your non-conference schedule? Do you go with the lesser opponent to try to stack as many wins as possible so you only essentially need to go right around 500 in the ACC to make the tournament? Or do you try to challenge them more with tougher teams, try to be more high profile, get those big wins in non-conference play, maybe ignite the fan base a little bit? But certainly you can go different ways with it, for sure. And I would definitely, as we get years into this, because I want to keep this thing going, but I definitely want to be more of a national brand, and kind of grab guys more national, or even go with what Miami does. They recruit a lot of people, a lot of players in the Northeast. I don't feel comfortable in doing that at this point right now. Based on the way the game's set up, I'm going to stick to the Southeast region, see if we can get local guys that seem to work out well with our recruiting class last year, end up being top 20 in the country, which is good. The big thing I'm doing right now is I'm just looking at all these guys, try to add them to the call list. So our assistant coaches can call these guys each week, kind of stay on them, and obviously add this to our short list where we can offer from. And you see it right now with the 0 scholarship offers. When they're outstanding, you can't offer any more, to guys above what you have until they either make a decision on another school or commit to your school. And certainly you can withdraw a scholarship as well. But obviously that would hurt. And trying to land that player later. So we're getting some evaluations down here. See if there's anybody. So we got some C's and B's. And those are all going to fill up once we go to all these camps. So just moving it ahead a couple days here in recruiting. As we just kind of power through this. I'm looking at the ratings here as opposed to their stats. It's another way of looking at it. So you see some scoring ability, the passing, handling, inside, outside shooting, free throws. Obviously athleticism is a big deal, and I think it's a big deal in the ACC conference. Just to make sure you get guys that can compete athletically. With the camps, one thing I noticed that I'm going to pay really close attention to is on the reports you get back, it shows who the top 5, the all-tournament team, the all-camp team, and the MVP. That's how I picked up last year when I kind of ran back through it after all the camps were over. It kind of ended July into August. I felt like that's when I was pursuing Howard, our top recruit last year. Whereas I'd like to get a jump on it a little bit earlier. On some guys. And the reason why I'm not being, there's certain skills that I'm looking for, but the reason why I'm not being overly selective is because of the amount of scholarships we have to give. Obviously you want I'm looking at if we can get 2 really good players, 2 starters out of this group, that'd be huge. That's kind of the goal, but basically for a program like Miami, you're hoping for one of those classes where you get 3 or 4 really good players that can kind of pace you through their careers. Man, Trey Kamara is not... Okay, so we're talking a little bit here. Wants to play close to home. Just kind of keep staying with some guys, basically trying to flip the interest, especially if they're at none. Want to get it to the next level at cool, from cool to warm. So that's what we're looking at here. So the athleticism here. Yeah, it's Kerry. Kerry's the guy that I'm really interested in. I mentioned Burks earlier, but Kerry Weber, I like his scoring ability. Can shoot it. It doesn't want to waste the time. Don't bother calling again. Okay, it's not going well. Not gonna lie. Hashtag Weber to the U. Doesn't seem like it's working out. You guys remember the scholarships I have out are, with a couple guys out of Florida. It's definitely a better class out of Florida. And Vershaw is the top guy. We're warm there, so I feel good about that. Can watch film, scout, host, recruit. Let's bring him on campus. Let's get this thing moving. Desmond's also a guy I saw on the list. Brian Robinson, playing close to home. I definitely would like to land commitments much sooner than last year. If I could get these, with Vershaw and Robinson early on in the process, lock that down, and then that's when I like to kind of narrow down the recruiting, exactly what you're looking for once you start to get a couple pieces in place. Like Master, it's not working out. And kind of looking ahead, jumping ahead as we get closer to the season, I definitely want to do things differently. I did not like last season the way once I lost Nasir Brooks as center, a traditional center. I went with more of a small ball lineup. It worked. I got that win against Duke, but I just didn't feel comfortable in kind of switching the whole philosophy. This time, the way I kind of want to build the program is I want to have a little bit more next man in mentality, where I'm not switching everything around, because basically I had to go through the offensive sets, change the offense. I even looked at the defense. Do I run less man? Those kind of things. So I kind of want to stick more with having a good plan in place. And I'm going to pay attention more to when you click on the player that you have on your roster, you can see their playing style, what offense they run well in. So I'm going to really calculate that better and run a better offense is my plan for this upcoming season. You always want to make sure you know what you have on your roster and kind of maximize it. That's kind of one of the main goals for a coach, is maximizing its roster. So I definitely want to look and see what we have to make sure we're running the right thing. Just kind of looking at the different menus here, kind of playing around. I do think starting off with a good plan in recruiting will kind of help go through the whole month. So basically, I'm kind of in this early stage in July, but July is certainly a big recruiting month. I want to make sure just really on point with things here. Look at Travis Brown here. So I see Florida State are in there, 21-12. Great looking player. Inside scorer. That's at 6'8". He'd be a really nice player to have. These are the 5-star recruits nationally. So any one of these guys I'd love to have. And you see the interest level. None on most of them. Not sure on the others. Definitely any one of these guys I'd love to have. Randy Murray here. Again, these guys 23 points a game. Seems like these 5-star guys is where you can get your top scorers. That's certainly what you're looking to do. And you see it right here, points per game. I mean, you get 25 again. I mean, these guys are big time scorers. Rob Homer, not real athletic, but his scoring, passing, inside scoring, everything's real good. A 20-point score, which is what you're looking for. And once again, the evaluations come back after you either go visit them and watch them play, or if they're at one of the camps that your staff is at. definitely want to kind of looking at last season. I definitely want to move this one on a lot faster and kind of get through this season here. After we get through this part of recruiting. Man, I have all these guys. I want to be able to break through. It's tough. I'm looking at kind of where they're located. You see Arizona show up a lot, California. I mean, there's guys really out of the region, which makes it difficult. You got Bill Isles right there. And I want to certainly balance the time with it because, I don't want to waste my time with all those guys. But yeah, Southeast region, we've got a number of guys who are 5 stars. 9 5-stars in the region. So I've already made some of these guys put some interest in some of these guys. I can't get over that Burke stat line. I mean, just ridiculous. And stats don't always translate from high school to college basketball. You guys know that. But I'll take my chances on it. Okay, we got a few guys in here that I'm looking at. Kind of go back to Florida real quick. You see some 4 stars, and you see the guys that we're looking at with Robinson and Vershaw. I'll make sure we get some evaluations on these guys. And the sooner we get the feedback on the evaluation, I feel like that always, like once that's done, then you can really kind of move forward with either pursuing them or not. Is the way I usually look at it. So filling those gaps with those 4-star guys and the 3 stars as well, because sometimes they can go from 3 to 4. I want to make sure we're on top of that. You see the 5 stars out of South Carolina. Tennessee was an area we looked at last year. One thing that I'm curious about is the kind of like the pipeline situation with, if you get guys from a certain area, if you break through, does that help you with future recruits? Because obviously, I think it makes an impact. And for real teams, so I'm curious to see how that works here as well. See Jim right there, Oliver. We've got a few warms and cools. I'm not really worried. I think within a couple weeks, once we fast forward this thing a couple weeks into July, certainly towards the end of July, I want to start making some impacts from those cools. Kind of get them going more. You see my budget. It is just dwindling down. We are only at $7,900 left for the whole entire recruiting season. I don't know if that's going to work out well. I feel like we're going to drain it all the way down. Josh Williams. He's a scorer, inside scorer, can't shoot outside, can't make free throws, not real athletic. He has that A evaluation, so we'll keep it moving. These are just those 3 stars. Just we're certainly grinding through. If you guys are here right now, you're certainly big fans of recruiting, seeing how this works. If we're sitting here looking at 3-star guys. Again, this Atlantic East region, we're not doing real well. We've got some evaluations back, but interest level. I'm excited to see these camps the rest of this month. We're we're going to some big ones. That will certainly help. Atlanta's a big one. Basically, they have national ones and then the regional ones. So that's going to be good. And real quick, just if you haven't seen it yet, I've been putting up some videos on NCAA, hoops 2K8 with the real rosters for the 2020-21 seasons. I've been playing those games. I haven't done a legacy with that game, but it's phenomenal if you guys have not done one. It's really cool because you recruit. It's a really in-depth recruiting, and the gameplay is really good. I've just been playing like essentially exhibition games, so you can check the channel if you guys are interested in that. Let's go ahead and get Weber down. That'll be a big one. Okay, so just moving ahead just a little bit here. Let's see the feedback. We got the camps coming up. Houston, Chicago. Okay, just kind of there's the Houston recap camp MVP. This is what I'm talking about. See if there's any guys. See, it's all guys from different region mostly. And we did not go to Houston because of that. And I obviously haven't been, I haven't played this game outside of Miami, but I'm curious about the big schools, the big time schools, what their recruiting budgets are like, if they just send people everywhere or what they do. These are the guys that we've offered. You see Burks and Weber, and then Robertson and Vershaw, and then Kirk, just with that Florida. Those 3 Florida guys. So we do have 5. For some reason I was thinking 6, but yeah, we got 5 offers right now. So Burks and Weber are 2 5-stars that we're going after, the guards. That's the thing about getting a quick commitment, because if you get the quick commitment, you can really offer the other guys, and it could really help. Looking at Josh Williams. Okay, we moved into we're number 3 for Josh Williams. Georgia and Kentucky, right there. He's from Georgia. Academics are a huge priority. Miami has good academics, so that's good. 1.9 blocks per game, the 1.5 steals. I like that. I always like when guys are 1 is the mark. I like when guys get blocks and steals, at least 1 of each. I'm always looking at that mark. So Jim Oliver looks like just a shooter. Outside shooter is good. Pretty good defender. Athleticism is good. So we're right there at 10th on his board. We can certainly move up quickly, though, I think. He likes the location. I like that 20 point per game. I'm looking at even if he's just an outside scorer, but I like the defense being a B. You don't always see that with guys that are really good shooters. So we're going to definitely have to keep our eye on Oliver moving forward. It might be a way of kind of getting one of these 5-stars is if we recruit them and get them on board when they're 4s and then they move up to a 5. That still counts. But that might be our best chance. Yeah, we're not even top 10 on Burks. That ridiculous stat line. Did not work. But we're just going to keep plugging away with some of these guys, these 5-star guys. See, the thing about Weber that intrigues me is his top 10 schools aren't real big yet, so he hasn't really essentially blown up, even though he's a high recruit. So I don't know if that means he's not as good or if other schools are just kind of not seeing him yet. But oh my goodness, we are not doing very well on these phone calls. you can see with the way it's shaded, you can see if they're on our list here. Master's a guy that I think, man, we're not top 10, but he's a guy I think that's good. The scoring, passing, defense is all there. I like his stat line. I keep an eye on him for sure, even though he's not interested. Okay. Getting some GPA feedback. That's always good to have. And I do recommend the gold report when playing this game. Try to get as much information as possible. I know when talking to Ryland, he didn't do that, and it felt like an uphill battle. He never knew where he stood with recruits. Like, we can always see if we're in the top 10 once they make their announcement, or once you kind of like recruit them a little bit. I know he always felt like he didn't have as much information on recruits as he would like. Okay, Pat Burton, 21 points a game. We need a 20-point score. That's a huge goal of ours. Got to get some scorers in. Jay Brown. Okay, we got to keep that guy in mind. He's averaging nearly a triple-double. I really like that. I really like players that do it all, and I feel like with scoring, sometimes if they're doing everything else right, and with Jay, he's averaging 20 a game, but the point is, like, sometimes if you see a player, if his scoring average isn't as high, for example, with his college basketball team, but he's doing these other things, kind of filling the stat line, stuff in the box score, it makes me always feel like the scoring will come if they can do all these other things. So I always like that when guys are able to do certain things or do more things to help your team win. So everybody's got to find a role. I think that's going to be the big goal for our squad this year once we kind of look at it. But once again, I'm looking at Wong, Beverly, Timberlake as the top 3, bringing in Mike Howard, our top recruit from last year, and then I'm looking at Dangak as a starting center to start the season. Just staying on Vershaw and Robinson. And I think even with Desmond, the other guy from Florida that we offered, I don't like him as much as the other two, but I wanted to offer just because we can get it moving. So Brian Robinson, the 16, 5, and 5. We're number 2 on his list, right behind Florida. Let's stick with him. Got to go that playing time. And location, got a little bit of phone time remaining for our recruits. I mean, this would be an incredible class. If we could somehow get Burks or Weber, that'd be big time. But hopefully we get some good feedback on these recruits from Florida. Knock those out, we can move on with the recruiting class. Got a big month of July coming up here with some more big camps. We're gonna have plenty of stuff to get to with that. Okay, just moving ahead, just Kerry Weber. Okay, he had a good time with this on the visit. Brian Robinson visit, that's good. And then Vershaw with the visit. Are they all saying similar things? But that's okay. I think that's good. Okay, so Kerry Weber is up to cool. We are making a little bit of headway there. We're in the dead period. Berg's still not in the top 10. It's interesting his athleticism is only a C with those kind of numbers. But we'll just stay on Weber. these other guys as well. So all three of those guys, the Florida guys that we've offered, are all at warm. Taking a look at the schedule as we keep grinding out the summer months here in July as we prepare for our second season. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this thing up. Definitely appreciate everybody. Thanks for watching. Thank you for subscribing. You can check out coverage of the Miami Hurricanes, InsideTheU.com, the Miami Hurricanes basketball team, and you can follow me on Twitter at InsideTheU. Thanks again, and take care.